Hi, and welcome to a very exciting segment of the Sequire Spotlight. I'm Kamel Fisher, and we are, as you can see, at the incomparable SoFi Stadium. With me, I have GPOPlus CEO, Brett Pajunas, and Joe Jacoby with us, president of Distro. Welcome.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, this is a really cool stadium.
Isn't it exciting?
I hope I'm not upsetting anyone. I mean, he's in line. He's got the right shirt on.
I see, yeah.
Our Eagles, we got to support them. They're doing
well, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm by default Chargers or Rams, so I won't say who my other favorite is. But
okay.
yeah, let's see what happens in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So straight into GPOPlus, I know that you guys are all about group purchasing to save businesses money. So tell us more about that.
Where we started was actually in the CBD industry with CBD GPO, and as you mentioned, GPO stands for Group Purchasing Organization. And what we did in the very beginning is we were doing raw materials. So like your isolate, your distillate, the main ingredients that people use to make CBD related products. But specifically, we focused in on CBD isolate. Now, back when we got started, it was $10,000 for 1 kilo of CBD isolate. And we realized very quickly that if you needed a couple kilos and Joe needed a couple kilos and a couple other people, we aggregated it all together, we got a much better price. Right. And so instead of paying $10,000, we might have been paying like $8,000 or $7,500. And I'd say, hey, Kamel, how about you pay $8,000, but let me purchase through you, so I'll save you $2,000. We're making $500 to $1,000, each transaction. So who's better than us?
Right.
Well, we did that for a while, and then all of a sudden the price nosedived from $10,000. If you know what you're doing today, it's about $250 a kilo. And so there really weren't the margins in that anymore. So we kind of pivoted and we got into manufacturing our own products. And we started creating your tinctures, your gummies, and everything else. And we realized after working with these different manufacturers that when we got the products back and we got them tested independently, some of the products had no CBD, like literally zero CBD. Some of them had significantly less. And we said, hey, we're surrounded with some pretty smart people and we're having these issues. There's got to be a lot of other people, industry-wide that's having the same issues. So what we did is we went out and started finding the best-in-class manufacturing partners and actually, flew out there, kicked the tires. We grabbed our own samples and we sent it out to our labs, not what they gave us. And then we basically said, okay, we solved another industry problem, and we started becoming a manufacturing a partner for a lot of these different companies. And so we did that for a while, and then we were getting ready to do distribution, and along comes COVID. And you can't really be a distribution company with COVID and there's no stores open. And so what we did is we kind of pivoted and got into healthcare. We started Health GPO, and the business model for that was to find products like COVID tests that were really hard to get, and we're pretty good at procuring things. And so we, instead of going after like these big, massive hospital networks and going for containers, we were buying pallets, and we were going after a specific niche for conjugate care. And this is your nursing homes, your long-term care facilities, your assisted living facilities, and they're not buying pallets. They're buying a case or two at a time. So what we did is we bought the pallets and we sent it to them. We made great margins on it. We did that for a long time, but in a couple $1 million later in sales, we decided, you know what? No one had ever anticipated that this COVID wave would last as long as it did, and it did. Right. So in February, we made a really tough decision to just cut that division off completely and say, let's get back to our core competency. Smoke shops are open, specialty retailers are open. Let's get into the distribution. So what we did is we announced Distro Plus, and the business model for Distro Plus. Well, let me talk about phase one. The phase one business model was to acquisitive growth strategy, find regional and independent distributors nationwide we can acquire. Mm-hmm. Second part of that is to build up our product catalog, and the third is to build out our membership. And so one of the first things we did is one of the perfect people. He's an absolute superstar to come in and run the division. That's Joe Jacoby here. So Joe, if you don't mind, I'd like you to take over from there for a little bit.
Not at all. Thank you again for having me today. And go Rams. We hope that they can
go Eagles.
Close out the season.
Fly Eagles, fly.
But so Distro Plus, we're really excited. The model that we have and the strategy we have is, to go out and find areas where people are underserved. And the distribution, typical model, you'd go to the big cities, the Los Angeles, the New York. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to go out and serve rural America. So we're very, very excited about that strategy and what Brett mentioned, this acquisitive piece to it. And I'm going to jump the gun a little bit on one of our big announcements. We've done a binding letter of intent, gone through our due diligence on a company that's actually based in Lubbock, Texas, called Betterment Retail Solutions. Now, Betterment isn't in Dallas, it's not in New York. It's serving rural America, specialty retail that's really underserved. The big guns, the big distributors don't want to go there. It's just too much work for them.
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity for us. And we're going to duplicate that with hubs across the nation. And they don't have to be gigantic 1,000,000-square-foot Amazon-sized warehouses.
Right.
It could literally be a storage unit. And, we call it, gig workers, these folks that are going to go out and service these specialty retailers. Some people will call them, wagon jobbers or jobbers. And these folks run a route from our distribution hub to service all those smoke shops, compound pharmacies, convenience stores. Again, not the big box retail. We're not trying to sell to Walmart or Staples. We're looking for the people that really need that love and attention that we can give.
Right.
You mentioned early on, what we do. We try to save businesses money, and by giving that level of attention and service, we allow the small retailer to compete with the big guys. So right now we're in that phase where we're building out first our product catalog. The jobbers need something to sell, right? So we're building out that catalog with our own brands as well as third-party brands. And this is product that, you've been to a 7-Eleven, you've been to a Circle K. These are the products that you can see there. We've got a great partnership with a retailer called Yesway Allsup, and that's over 470 locations just out of that Lubbock facility and growing.
Right.
So even in a COVID economy, where a lot of stores have closed and shuttered their doors, convenience stores have done well. And they continue to do well because people need those, particular much needed items. And oftentimes that convenience store might be the only retailer available in the area. So they might have to drive 30 miles to get to a Walmart or
Right.
something larger. But we provide not only the pharmacy, the beverage type products, CBD, health and wellness, all in a particular community that they wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So oftentimes people call it like a health desert when you talk about these very rural places like Tucumcari, New Mexico. Well, all of a sudden now they have health options through what we call the Feelgood Shop. Now, the Feelgood Shop concept, which is really the strength behind this push with Betterment Retail Solutions, is a store within store concept. So we have a curated selection of products that are both secure in a Lexan cube that you'd find at the register,
Right.
or out on the shelf when it comes to food, and non-cannabinoid containing goods, everything from eyewear to t-shirts to food that's instant and ready. All those solutions for that retail customer. And as we build out the product set, we found that a lot of these retailers are looking for high quality stuff. We have a lot of experience in manufacturing these goods, and we have some exciting announcements to make. So I know Brett's really, really excited about one, so I'm going to dish back to Brett.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting hearing about how you guys are leveraging and adding more fuel to this organization in different ways that you're impacting it. You spoke about the locations. What else can you tell us about the diversification of the client base, right? Of what you're bringing into GPOPlus?
Well, I think that would be more on the product side, right?
Yeah.
So having a good diversified product portfolio spanning across multiple categories is kind of really where that's going to be.
Right.
As we're still in our infancy stages, although we have a pretty good footprint coming out of the gate, I want to say that the stores that we're in are pretty diverse, but they're in mostly in the Southwest, right, across 9 different states, I believe, at this point in time. And then we have a distribution center up in Michigan, in Monroe, Michigan. To Joe's point, actually, if you could take that one for a second.
Sure. I mean, again, we didn't pick Detroit.
Right.
We picked Monroe. That's a small town, and when you look at these small towns, we typically take like a distribution center and we look at about 150-mile radius around that. So within that 150-mile radius, there are literally hundreds, even thousands of retailers that we can call on that we think in general are ignored, right? And that they don't maybe have that priority when it comes to the big distributors. So it's an opportunity for us. And as we expand with our different hubs, across the country, we will address different types of retailers as well. Most what we're focused on right now are smoke shops, convenience stores, drug stores, vape shops,
nutrition stores.
but that will continue to grow. With our product sets that we're developing, that will continue to expand and add more regional and specialty retailers.
Thank you. I read up about SurgePays and a great increase in their revenues there, but a lot of upfront costs are obviously starting to show its head given the market conditions. How do you guys kind of see your way over that or getting past that?
Well, sure. I mean, I think that when you talk about SurgePays that you mentioned, this is a really fun opportunity for all specialty retail that might not have the payment ability, the payment processing, and also the access to, again, when we talk about rural America, we can offer cellular top-ups. So if you have a prepaid cell phone, typically, you don't have a monthly, $100 a month plan. You have something where you're paying as you go, but you don't want to have to drive 40 miles, to get to a T-Mobile store or Verizon store to pay that. You might be one of the underserved and underbanked folks that is a lot of America that want to pay cash. So we're going to offer an opportunity for the customer to do that top up. Again, nationwide in rural America and convenience stores, smoke shops, and other. So they'll have that access. And there's additional things they can do. They can buy virtual gift cards. There's the ACP programs.
That's going to be great.
And it's really a mutually beneficial relationship, right, between GPOPlus and Search Pays, where I believe it's just maximizing both your networks, monetizing them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
We've been working with Search for a long time. We know the principals over there, Brian, and some of the key players. And I'm not going to say we were trying to find a way to work together. It was just very natural. And when you look at what Surge does, and they're killing it right now, they're on fire. SCRG is the symbol. And you see what they've done and the revenues they've been able to generate. Right. That's inspiring, to a company that's like us, that's kind of, relatively new to the market and getting going.
Right.
But yeah, it offers us, that's really the diverse, product offering, because now those are more services, right? And we would only talk about products, product catalogs. So it's another value add that we bring to a retailer.
Awesome. So Brett, the big news, please let us wait no more.
Sure. So there's a company called Yuengling's that's been around for a long time. It's a brewery. It's based in Pennsylvania. It's the oldest brewery in the United States. Well, during Prohibition, they kind of pivoted and they got into dairy so they could stay in business and survive. And in 1920, they started making ice cream, and it is one of the best ice creams ever. If you're from the Northeast, you definitely know about it, and it kind of has like a cult-like following. But the flavors are amazing: vanilla cherry, butterbeer, and what we've done is we've negotiated an agreement to take all of our product categories with CBD, Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, Delta 11, all the hemp-derived cannabinoids, and create products around that, like gummies and vapes. And so we're basing the flavors around the Yuengling's ice cream flavor profiles. So we're really excited about this. We've got some unique packaging that's going to be coming out, and it's a legacy brand. A lot of people know the brand here in the U.S., and we think it's going to do really well, and we're beyond excited about this deal.
Really smart finding a working brand. The flavors are really well liked across the country. So excellent. All the best. Where can we find more information?
So please go to GPOPlus.com/IR. That's GPOPlus.com/IR and sign up for our investor portal. And we'll send you our press releases, our SEC filings, anything that you want to subscribe for. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Britt, Joe. Great having you.
Great having you. Thank you.